Welcome back to the We Want You book mini series on our podcast. Excited to unpack chapter 4. So, if you've been following along, we've had some short videos over on YouTube as well as audio here on the podcast about allyship and specifically people with power and how to engage them in this critical time for allies when we need our allies the most. And there's a lot of fear and trepidation that can keep even the best, well-intentioned allies on the sidelines, out of the conversation. So, how do we engage them? Well, we talked about processing fears, reframing power for good, and the what's in it for me benefits to allyship. Now it's time to shift gears a little bit and think about how do we want to show up as an ally. And that starts with knowing your ally role. So, a couple parameters around allyship. This is a choose your own adventure approach. There is no one size fits all, which makes to me a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, but a lot more nuanced and a lot more complex than sometimes people give it credit for. At its core, allyship is about supporting people that are different from ourselves, different lived experiences, different identities, different backgrounds, different cultures. And who doesn't need to do that in today's increasingly globalized world? It's about staying relevant as a leader, as an ally. And so knowing your ally role really begins with noticing and validating. There's some great research, Caroline Fleck, Adam Grant, profound thought leaders in psychology and organizational psychology specifically have noted that when you want to show up and be supportive as a leader, as an ally, that it starts with really noticing how people are treated maybe differently than you, noticing microaggressions or non-inclusive behavior, noticing that women are often overtasked with non-promotable tasks, meaning admin work, social committee planning, etc. And so just noticing differences in how people are treated based on elements of their identity or things completely outside of their control. One interesting finding I found from Joan C. Williams' research, for example, shows that people of color and women tend to over-index on the workplace not being as fair as white men. And so, if fairness is something that people experience differently in the workplace, what can we do to kind of level the playing field, make the waters, the allyship waters, more inclusive, more fair for everyone to operate because we get more from everyone if the workplace works better for everyone. And so, knowing your ally role starts with 5 key kind of umbrella terms that I use. So I think about it as an umbrella where, maybe a spoke or two is going to speak to you, but certainly not all of the roles. And it would be an incredible undertaking to try to be all things to all people. So really think about your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are the things that give you energy as an ally? And then how can you find the roles and folks in your network to practice allyship with? And so the primary role is mentorship, really thinking about people in your network that you could be a good mentor for, give advice, have you been where they want to go? You can give them guidance, give them feedback. It's more of a one-to-one relationship, super important. But sponsorship is actually incredibly more important and often the least utilized role. Sponsorship is a one-to-many relationship where we're speaking up on someone's behalf, often in rooms where they cannot be, decision-making rooms, project planning rooms, succession planning, talent management rooms. So advocating, hey, this person would be a great fit for this stretch opportunity, this challenging role, this promotion. And we tend to associate dominant group members with potential, meaning they haven't had to do the work that we're going to task them to do, the promotion. They have the potential to do it. Whereas we look for performance of folks outside of that dominant group, meaning they have to kind of prove themselves over and over again. So different starting points, different waters that we're swimming in right from the get-go. So how can you be a sponsor? How can you be an advocate for someone that's different than you? Amplify their voice. Make sure they're not interrupted. Make sure their voice is heard. Make sure they're seen. Um, Advocacy is the most utilized role, but also the one that we can get tripped up on a little bit. We can make mistakes, stumbles and bumbles. And advocacy is a lifelong journey. It is not an on and off switch. It's not a one and done type of effort, as allyship actions are often not. They're sustainable, they're long term. The other two roles, coaching, being a sounding board, being there to create space for people to self-discover their path forward. So very different than mentorship. A coach is really there to ask questions, listen actively, and then promote what I call self-discovery, meaning helping someone kind of figure out their own solutions to their own challenges or career maps, etc. And then the last one's the challenger. And this is the one that's angsty for me as a reformed people pleaser. Really challenging people, giving them feedback that's tangible that helps them be better, specific and actionable feedback. Hey, I saw you in that meeting and I loved how you said this. And here's an idea for next time. That type of actionable feedback so people know what to do with the feedback. And then really stretching people, putting up the mirror and saying, hey, I see this in you. Did you see this? I've seen you do this a few times. You should think about that for a next step in your career, that type of challenge, that type of stretch. We want to challenge and stretch talent equitably, but we tend to over-index the dominant group. Yeah. So those are some of the umbrella terms to allyship that you'll learn about in the book We Want You. And then how I end the chapter is really challenging everybody to set their own allyship vision. What is the type of ally you hope to be? What are you striving towards? Because allyship is an aspiration. It's not an arrival point. We're always aspiring to be better allies. I know for me, it's a lifelong journey. I will never fully understand the lived experiences of others different from myself, but I can empathize and I can try to understand and I can stay on the allyship journey and continue to show up. So for me, it's about facilitating inclusive experiences so that everyone feels seen, heard, and that they belong. That's my allyship vision. So yours could be something similar or something quite different. It's really important that it's personal to you, that it speaks to you, and it's something that will help you weather the incredible allyship storms and stumbles and bumbles and mistakes that we most certainly will make. If we're trying to be good allies, we will not do this perfectly. It is progress over perfection. So stay with us. If you haven't headed over to nextpivotpoint.com yet, please do. You can download your workbook to go along with the book with some great exercises. You can get access to this content, video and audio, and then also we're offering discounts, incentives for bulk orders of 20 books or more. So maybe that'd be great for your next book club or employee resource group event, or you just want to get these books in the hands of folks with power that can be even better allies for you. So I'll see you next time. Next time, we're going to unpack psychological safety and perspective taking, as well as storytelling. So those are incredible tools to lead your team as hopefully an ally in a position of power.